On Star Wars Chronicles, Prophesied King. Our heroes finally made it to Romania, where they begin playing out their adventure to go hopefully meet the Shadow King before Darky does. In the process, they learn a few more things, such as what exactly Sierra wants to do, and also the ability to go even further beyond your own capabilities. As they were traveling, they met up with Garius, the gatekeeper of the place, where he unfortunately separates the group thanks to Anto's interference and also the fact that some of them were just not worthy. Now the group is separated, Mikey, Terry, and Sierra must worry about trying to stay off the path of Darky, as the others begin to try to figure out how to get out of the pit of anguish. Episode 18, Dragonel's Resurgence. We are now back at Phoenix with the biker crew and Francisco watching over the base. They seem to be relaxing as they looked around the lab while also making a mess. As to be expected, Francisco wasn't pleased as he walked around his base. "Look, I appreciate your help, but would it kill you to get this place somewhat clean?" He felt the push of winch as he walked over. "Relax, man. That's how we do things." He had a bowl of popcorn in his hand as he brought it over to the others. The other three were at a table doing their own thing. James watched the television as Lewis seemed to be concentrated with some metal. One sat by Francine, who was writing some sort of letter. When she was curious, he ate some of his snack gladly.
"I'm starting to agree with the science guy. You're being too noisy."
"Well, what you writing there?" Francine covered it while giving an amused look. When she confused, he was trying to see. "Come on, man. It's obvious what she's writing." "Is it? I seem to be lost here." James laughed as he heard that. "Apparently. Anywho, how's the love letter going?" Francine gave him the same look.
"For your information, it's no love letter. In fact, I have no idea what you're talking about."
"It's way too nice at a hot star captain. Yet each time you write one, you never get to him." Francine blushed a bit as she got up and walked away. James laughed some more as Lewis slapped him in the back of his head. When has anyone told you to respect your own family? Come on, if I didn't do it, you would. And also, when has anyone told you not to follow the wrong people's examples? James just went back to watching TV while scoffing at him. "Anyway, what are you doing? Are you trying to use your ability?" Francesco came over confused. "You have an ability?" Lewis went back to his metal pieces. "Don't worry about it. I still have to master it." Lewis brought out his hand to try and fuse metals together, but it is separated with no result. He slammed his fist with frustration. "Damn it, another dud!" Lewis tried again as the popcorn was finished. "He has that alchemy ability or whatever." Francisco looks over to see the metal pieces try to fuse again, but it was to no avail. Lewis swears in frustration once more. "I'm legit surprised you haven't mastered yet." Lewis looks at him angered. "When you get separated by your parents at a young age before they taught you how to use your ability, you'll find it hard to master anything." "Speaking of abilities, where's that dragon guy?" It then felt a powerful surge come from the top. It went away just as quickly, leaving the three interested. They head to the roof where they see H.R. Dragonel stood there while his scales kept flashing from red to yellow, with sparks coming out of his body. Yet he stopped as he ran out of breath. "Excuse me, Your Highness." Dragonel looks back to see the three stand there confused. "I suppose you're wondering what I'm doing. Simply put, when I was back at the lake, I felt something inside that I haven't felt before." "We all feel things we don't want to feel." The others looked at him strangely. "I'm not lying. But that wasn't what I was doing. I heard that people with abilities can go further beyond their limits, and I think I have the capability to do that." Lewis then pulled a shocked expression. "You mean to tell me that you have power to go beyond, and I can't even master my own ability? If it makes you feel better, I haven't been able to pull it off just yet." Lewis then went over to him with a begging pose. "Teach me." Dragonel gave a laugh at hearing that. "I wish I could, but I'm not sure how that alchemy ability works. The only one I know is my own, so it wouldn't be that much help." "No, I know how to do that, I just can't." Dragonel thought for a moment after hearing that. "What you lack is proper confidence. If you know you can do it, then do it. There's no need to second guess yourself, you know?" Aaron heard the noise of someone rushing up to them. It was Francine, who seemed stressed. "What's gotten into you?"
"It's those Magnus idiots David was talking about. They kidnapped James."
All of them looked shocked at hearing that. Which led us to the Meg base, where James was tied up in a chair with every member standing in front of him sinisterly. He also had a bag over his head while being knocked out. "I don't get it. Why is it just him at that place?"
"It doesn't make sense to me either." Perhaps they're hiding something.
Which is why we are going to interrogate him. With that being said, Darknut, wake up, our friend. Darknut nods as he takes the bag off his head. After giving him a slap, James wakes up to see the four stand there menacingly. What's going on here? He tried to fight his way through the ropes, but nothing seemed to give. As he was, Darknut gave him another slap to stop him. You will refrain from this action. Pearson put his claw on him to calm down the situation. Let's not try to be too aggressive just yet. Who are you? I ain't telling you shit! Pearson gave a chuckle after hearing that. I think a simple introduction would tell me nothing. I want to know a few things. Who are you working for, and where are the Star Warriors? James spit on his face. Go to hell! I might be a rookie, but I've seen darker times than this. Pearson gave an amused look as he walked away to spit. So much for doing this the easy way. He attached two claws on James' throat. James held onto it while choking. Let's try this again. Who are you? Who do you work for? And where are the Star Warriors? Though through the choking, Pearson was able to hear one statement. I don't know what you're talking about. Pearson choked hard with an intense look. I'm not the kind of guy you want to play stupid with. Are you going to give me the answers, or do I have to pry them off your corpse? Enough! He looked around to see Dragonel and Lewis stand there sternly. Joe and Adriana stood in front with their own powers ready. Don't worry, boss. We'll take out the varmint for you. Before they attacked, Francine and Winch came out of nowhere to pin both of them down. The members struggled as Dragonel and Lewis came closer. Darnell went to get his sword, but Pearson held back as he brought James down. Just might you two be. How about you tell us what you got our rookie tied up? So you must be the one he works for. Interesting. Do you know where the Star Warriors are at? Dragonel punched Pearson swiftly away with his electric punch. This sent Pearson hard into the wall. I'm right here if you're wondering. Pearson shrugged it off as he went over for his own attack. But he stopped as the breeze of the bullet went past him. He looks over to see Lewis hold up a makeshift gun. I may not be a master of craft, but if you mess with the Trailblazers, you don't get sympathy from me. Lewis tried to attack again, but Darknut held him back from behind. Lewis left Dragonel and Pearson one-on-one. I think I know who you are, HR Dragonel the Fourth. Am I correct? What's it to you? I'm not sure what you want from an innocent bystander, but I will not stand by while you terrorize him. Feeling heroic today? Then come at me. This time I'm ready for you. Dragonel smirked rushes over for another attack. However, Pearson just merely slapped him out of the window before Dragonel got the chance. Pity. I was expecting a little bit more. He looks over to see the members of the Trailblazers pinned down and exhausted. Trailblazers, you said? What a joke. Let's send a message that any shameless biker gang that attacks Team Magnet will get. He notices all three members stare out the window worryingly. What's wrong with you guys? Pearson turns around to see Dragonel fly back up, this time in a yellow electric state. Pearson looked worryingly as well, with Dragonel flying in to attack the other three members. With one swift blow to each of them, he knocks them out quickly. He then stares at Pearson sternly. I don't suppose you take unconditional surrenders. Dragonel takes Pearson off the chair. Don't mess with us ever again! He tosses his metal head over to the wall hard, knocking out Pearson in the process. Dragonel powered down as he started to breathe heavily. He almost fell in exhaustion, but he was saved by Lewis. Damn, man. That was what going beyond looks like. Unfortunately, that was my first time fully doing it. It's clear I need more practice. Francine untied James, who was conked out as well.
Regardless, we saved the rookie at last. Let's get out of this hellhole.
He agreed to do so as the day went on. It was a few hours later. Pearson was at a desk with Darknut standing beside him. Who does that dragon think he is? Mister, my family was cursed generations ago and I can benefit off that? What does he have to be so protective of those idiots? I don't know, sir. As Pearson growled in rage, he heard laughter from across the room. My. Who would have thought the great Peterson would be this angry over one person? He looked up to see a weird individual standing in the shade. Sorry to intrude, but it's too funny to look at. Darknut brought out his sword and pointed at the voice. Halt. State your business. The figure came close to reveal a dark purple dragon with a brown short scarf around its neck. Easy there, Secret Service. I'm not here to fight anyone. Besides, if I don't want to kill you guys, I would have already done it. You think this big talk makes us intimidated? We don't even know who you are. The dragon stood there confidently. The name's Drapier Gloom. I'm sure you heard of me. We never heard of that name before. What do you want? Drapier lost the look with a confused look. I see. Guess I'm not that popular yet, huh? Anyway, I'm what you call a bounty hunter. And last I checked, I'm ranked 15th in the BHA, or Bounty Hunter Association if you want to be more formal. BHA. It's that place where hunters go collect and take bounties. I chose not to associate myself with them, as they are pretty shitty people. Though you call yourself one, making it kind of hypocritical in a way. Pearson gave an amused look as Drapier stood there. Moving on, the next bounty I selected is, you might like this, H.R. Dragonel. He's worth a lot, don't you know? Right. Why should we trust you? Drapier went up close with more confidence. Feel free to look up my credentials if you're that skeptical. Whether you trust me or not is not my concern. What is the fact that I heard Dragonel was around here last. Seeing how you were just talking about him, I'd like to tell you for you to tell me where he is exactly. Dragonel went over to push him back, but Drapier stopped in the process. I wouldn't touch me if I were you, even if I wanted you to. Dragonel backed off as Pearson looked at him intrigued. How much is he worth, really? Drapier reaches back for a bag on his back to get a tablet from it. Using it, he showed Pearson that Dragonel was worth 1 billion unis. Pearson gave a whistle after seeing that. That's even more than I originally thought. I assumed that you were interested. Tell you what, you help me, I'll give you that piece of the prize. Sounds reasonable? Pearson thought for a moment after hearing that. 10% of the prize, and I'll help you kill him. Drapier shook his head. How about 5%? I'll do this on my own. I know it's morbid to say, but I tend to work better alone. 8%, no lower. Drapier sighed at hearing that. Fine, just tell me where the guy is. Back at Francisco, the gang were eating dinner while recovering from today's event. Except for Dragonel, he was trying to pull off his Beyonce again. Yet after another attempt, he learned he was too tired to continue. With that thought, he rested there while obviously looking upset. What am I doing wrong? He seems more upset as he gets back up. Do I trust him again? I can't. If the other reason I acted that way in the first place. He didn't hear the door open to see Lewis come out intrigued. There you are. I want to thank you for helping us out. Or I guess saving us earlier. Dragonel gave him a nod of acknowledgement and he sat there. So, still working that Beyond State thingamajig? I don't suppose you would know anything about it. Actually, scratch that. I got this. Dragonel tried as he formed sparks around him, but he stopped as he failed once more. Jesus, you seem like David did a few months ago. Emblem can do this as well. Oh yeah, though like you, he hasn't mastered yet. I see. That's not going to stop me. So I'll excuse myself. I'd like to be by myself if you don't mind. He went at it again, but with no results. Man, you sure like your alone time. It's more that I don't want anyone to interfere with my training. I had too many bad teachers in the past, to the point where I'm not sure if teaching will be the right thing for me. After all, who's to say the next teacher will give me that advice I need? If it makes you feel better, I'm not a teacher. Dragonel gave a quick chuckle after hearing that. Even then, it's just who I am as a person. Or a dragon, however you want to see me. Dragonel sets back down as he catches breath. Mind if I vent you for a bit? Hey, I got that all the time as second command. You do you. Thank you. When I was born, I didn't even understand the position I was put in. Neither does Michael, the boy with your friend. Our dads died at an age where we didn't understand what parents was. Since then, I've been hearing constantly about the shoes I have to fill in the position I need to control. Just laying on the pressure over and over again to the point where I want to scream sometimes. That's why I've become more submissive to those people who are teaching me. Because in my mind, I told myself that they were the people who were willing to help me, that they aren't who I should direct my stress towards. I always take it out on people who I was told were lower than me. It was that same cycle over and over again. And then I've been told where Michael was at, so I only find him only to learn that I had it backwards this entire time. It took me a few more weeks to learn it, but once it clicked, I was like, damn, I was so angry I didn't have words. So I wanted to like recovery to take all my anger out there. But some of it's still built inside me. No matter how many times I yell or throw my fists in the air, it just won't go away. So I'm looking at this power-up thing as a way to get out of that anger. So that maybe when I taught myself something, it says that I can perform the role my father had as well, if not better. Yet the more I do this, it proves that I can't do it. I always top with the wrong people, I piss off everyone that might have cared about me. At this point, I'm beginning to wonder, am I the lost cause? He looks over at Lewis, who seemed blown away after his monologue. I'm sorry, that went longer than I wanted to. No, it's fine. Just don't exhaust yourself too much up here training. Lewis went back inside his Dragonel and sat there. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I should honestly rest if I want to accomplish this. Dragonel leaned back to look at the night sky. I wonder if Monkey feels the same. I wouldn't be surprised. Regardless, I need to work hard to be on state. Or maybe you need to relax. Dragonel leans up to see Drapier sitting there confidently. He looks so confused as Drapier came forward. Red Dragon having sparks come out of his body? Yep, you're definitely Hook Raven. Who are you? Drapier held out his hand to stop Dragonel from another action. Hold your horses. Don't get too excited just yet. We've merely begun. Name's Drapier Gloom. Have you heard of me? Sounds familiar, but doesn't ring a bell. Drapier seemed mildly upset at hearing that. Man, I work hard on that 15th ranked bounty hunter. Whatever, it seems I finally met you. Bounty hunter? I assume you want to kill me then for a price. Drapier gave a sly smirk as he walked closer. Not quite. In fact, I've been paid a hefty price to protect you. Dragonel gave a strange look at hearing that. Now, bodyguarding isn't my thing traditionally, but I couldn't say no to that price. And besides, it looks like you need it. Dragonel looks back at him annoyed after hearing that. I don't need a bodyguard. Who even hired you anyway? Drapier gave him a straight face. I think you have a pretty good idea on who they hired. Dragonel gets up angered. Well, I dismiss you from your duties. I don't need a body. Now, hold on. If you don't mind me eavesdropping, but I overheard the monologue you had with that weird biker guy. If I was to be as perspective as I think I am, it seems you lack self-confidence. Dragonel's face turned to a more concerned look. If that's the case, then go about your business doing what you are doing. I'll just hit him on the outside. It's like I won't even be here. Drapier was about to leave, but he was stopped. Wait, what do you mean self-confidence? Isn't it obvious? You feel like teaching yourself this super ultra hyper form or whatever will make you feel accomplished. Does it really, though? Anyone who can pull it off will tell you that technique is learned, not taught. Besides, you need to let go of those past feelings. Somewhere in there, you know those emotions are holding you back from feeling good about yourself. Moving on is key. Dragonel eased up a bit. That sounds like it come from experience. The night rolled up again as Drapier and Dragonel sat there looking at each other. I come from the land of the cursed, as you would have guessed. I live in a small village called Monty Village. You mean that place named after that war hero? Huh? Didn't know it was. Besides that, I say I live a normal life for the most part. That is until I was about your age. That's when my ability kicked in. Drapier's eyes began to flare up as Dragonel watched worryingly. If you don't want to talk about it... No, I've come to terms with it. My ability was never taught to me. It's just laid inside there like an unwanted parasite. By the time I was matured to my body, it went out of control. For you see, my ability is Poison Touch, a base poison element. How it works is that anyone who touches me gets instantly poisoned by the venom in my scales. I learned that the hard way. I had a younger brother, about 6 years younger than me. Sweet boy, him and I played ball together one day as we usually do. Then, he touched me by accident. A few tears fell from Drapier's eyes as he was talking. At first, nothing happened. We laughed it off and went back to playing. It didn't last long as I noticed foam coming out of his mouth. And after that, silence. He fell to the ground and didn't move. My God, I'm so sorry. Drapier wiped away his tears to calm himself. It turns out my parents always knew I had this ability. They just didn't tell me. With that seed in my head, it makes me so bitter at them for it. Yet, that bitterness turned to myself as I kept thinking if I could control my ability, that wouldn't have happened. I spent the next 10 years trying to master it, but I couldn't. No one besides me knew what I was going through. And the memory of my brother dying kept playing over and over again through my head to the point where I'm in the place where you are at now. So how did you get out? Everyone went back to his happier persona. Another cursed dragon came out to me after seeing me break down. He took me over, heard my story, and he gave me one piece of advice that still sticks to me to this day. That is, no matter what you did in the past or who affected you negatively, that doesn't prevent you from having a better future. We can't always be obsessed with what we did. We should use it to help better what we will do. And sometimes, it's worth taking a chance to get yourself back out there. With that knowledge, he helped me finally master my ability. That must have been a very wise person. Who was it? I don't know if you've ever heard of Hook Raven Dragonel III, have you? Dragonel's eyes widened after hearing that. Anyway, with that, I left my hometown to join the BHA, and used my ability to rack up a lot of bounties. Though I have never once killed anyone, I couldn't. I don't want to go through that road again. After hearing that, Drapier gave a quick chuckle. It should also be worth mentioning I'm still trying to get over a few things. Dragonel laughed as well. Hey, at least you're further than I am. For now, yet there's still time for you to catch up. Speaking of which, it's getting late. You should probably get some rest. Drapier once again was about to fly away, yet Dragonel stopped him once more. Before you go, can I ask you a favor? Go for it. Can you help me master my Beyond state? Drapier thinks for a moment after taking it in. You know what? Why not? I'll help you with your little power form. Tomorrow, though, it's really getting late. Drapier flies off as Dragonel watches in thought. Maybe this won't be so bad after all. Mori came around as the beggar game watches the two dragons on the roof. What are they doing here exactly?
We're going to see two dragons fight. Are you a little excited about it?
Fight? I thought it was a sparring match. Drapier goes a while laughing. It's just a warm-up. Just to warn you, though, despite the fact I'm not using my ability, I don't become a great bounty hunter with just that. Whatever the hell is he master it, let's do this. The two dragons started off as they got into a fighting stance. You got it, Hook Raven. Most of that thing you keep talking about and I don't understand. Drapier confidently smiled at him. Keep a close eye, for I'm not going easy on you. All of a sudden, Drapier flew to him quickly while laying out a barrage of punches. He sent Dragonel back a bit, but he kept his balance easily. The gang cheered on as Dragonel held his position. Drapier whistled, impressed. Not bad, Your Highness. I haven't even started yet. Dragonel flew quickly over with his own lightning punches, yet Drapier matched them. They launched into the air as it went back to blow for blow. They were above the clouds before they stopped flying. After backing off, they began to study their opponents. You're pretty good. How did you get so strong? I've been in this business for a long time. Believe me. In fact, I'm pretty much twice your age. I see. Though it's going to take a little more than experience to beat me. Drapier chuckled again before he attacked him again. Dragonel blocked it, but fell victim to Drapier's second attack from his claw. He quickly used his lightning fist to shock Drapier away from him. I see. Let's go faster then. Drapier did appear behind him quickly to give out another attack to his head. Dragonel recovered, but was left confused. How did you do that? There's no way your ability helped you like that. Don't worry about me. Focus on yourself. Dragonel nodded in understanding. He freed to try and transform into his lightning form. Drapier smiled as he was doing that, but he stepped as his lightning was too much. He shook it off. No use. I can't do it again. Sure you can. Put all your efforts into it. What made you do it yesterday? I don't know. I was tossed out of the building and it just happened. It couldn't have just happened. Think. What made you transform into that Beyond state? Dragonel thought as they stayed still. The last thing I could have thought was my desperation to help those trailblazers from Team Magnet. Only one of them had an ability, and he doesn't know how to use it. I think I couldn't let those people die when I had the capability to do something about it. And that feeling must be the key to going beyond. You have to find a way to recreate that feeling. That will help you pull it off. With that statement, Dragonel tried to recall how he felt in that situation. Drapier patiently waited as he was figuring it out. But after a bit of thinking, something came to his thoughts. As he was thinking, some power came to them and fluctuated around them. He let his thoughts go, and his scales turned yellow once more with sparks flying around him. Drapier gave a confident smile as Dragonel finally reached movement as they flew in the air. Good, now let's get to controlling it. Dragonel nodded as he went for their attack. He let his lines fist out quickly as Drapier tried to withstand the attack. The punch separated clouds around them as Drapier withstood it. The others were now able to see it. There it is. You can do it, Dragonel. Maybe we can all do that eventually. James knocked on him with holding his left. Don't be an idiot. The fight continued as Drapier had a hard time reacting to Dragonel's attacks. One violent punch after another, he was having a hard time keeping up. Not bad, but you're exerting too much. Just because you're going beyond doesn't mean you have to go all out at once. It would be hard to control at that point. Dragonel tried to hold himself back, but he kept going at him with force. With this motion, Drapier grabbed his hands while trying to hold him back. I can't do it. It's too much. Yes, you can. Relax your mind. With our abilities, we are given the tools to control them. All we have to do is use them. Dragonel took a second to take several deep breaths as the power around him began to die down. But in the process, his eyeing form went away. He realized this and began to panic. No, I didn't mean to do that! Drapier calmed him down as he was about to freak out. It's okay. I think I know what needs to be done here. Its obvious body can possess it, but your mind can't. You need to find that perfect balance between your thoughts and feelings. How do I do that? You know how to feel it. Do it again, and this time, begin to put your thoughts into your motion. We are still in control of what we can do. Dragonel nodded, and he went back to his lying state. As he was, the power began to go wild again. Drapier held it back to not get fully hit. Okay, now remember, you are still in control. Dragonel let the message go through his head, and he finally realized something. This power, it's like learning how to use your ability all over again. I get it now. After that thought, another lightning strike came out. However, this time both dragons felt that it was different. Dragonel was able to remain still with the form, with Drapier looking proudly. That's more like it. Come at me with that power. The fight continued, but it was clear during the fight that Drapier couldn't keep up. Still, the attacks no longer felt wild or random. To them, there was a sense of flow and technique to those attacks. At some point, Drapier held his hand to signal a stop. I'm glad you can show it now, but I think we need to call it quits. If we kept going at it, I'm going to lose in a matter of seconds. Dragonel nodded in understanding. He let down his power this time to feel a little more relief. So, how did it feel? I never felt such a thing before. It was so invigorating. It's like I wanted to keep going to see how far I can push my limits. I see. But there's one thing you need to know. Though I never did it myself, I can still believe that there's still limits to how far you can go. Your body can only handle so much. Learning layers of control and balance will help you go forward. Dragonel seemed confused for hearing that. Or I'm making that stuff up. And this is only one way to find out. Or maybe more ways if you read a book. Drapier gave a laugh as he flew back down. By the way, I don't know if I should mention this yet, but thank you. For what? Giving you advice that you probably would have gotten in due time? You did all that yourself, buddy. I only supplied a fight for you to practice with. Though I guess I know now that you don't need a bodyguard. Bodyguard, maybe not, but I could use a friend during this time. Drapier gave a smile after hearing that. I can do that. They shook each other's hands as they finally made to the ground. The group came up to congratulate his success.
That was wicked, man!
No kidding. You gotta show me how to do that beyond stuff. Though I don't get too overconfident, I bet there's still plenty of things for you to learn. Dragonel smirked as he looked over to see a confident Drapier. Perhaps it's best that we take a short break. I might not show it, but I'm in an excruciating amount of pain. They laugh as the group heads into the building. One thing, Master Drapier. Drapier looks over to see him weirdly. I suppose you have joined the team now? I guess. Now take that fight as my initiation. Go on ahead. I'll rest here for a bit. Francisco nodded as he followed the rest inside. Drapier looks off to the sky with a smile. You know, I can see a lot of you in him. I see the cursed are in good hands. He walks back with the same smile. Meanwhile, a drone watched nearby as Pearson and Dragonel were watching from the building. That lying dragon son of a bitch. I know they were selling off about that guy. He seemed way too calm about killing someone. If he was truly that jaded, he would have gone for the kill him out of the situation. Pearson then comes back with our thoughts. Whatever. The bounty on those warriors is still up for grabs. Lucky for me, I think I have the weapon to get it done. He walks over back to his desk with a booklet on top of it. Watch out, what research in there. Dardan sees the page as a weird looking symbol with a dragon paint on it. A little myth that has a lot of potential to be proven. All we need are the pieces to make it so. And that'll be our next step. Don't be surprised if this takes us over a year. But I can assure you, no matter how long this will take, the payoff will be worth it. Understood, and we should get the ours ready. No need. Joe and Adriana are already on the hunt. What we need to do is pray to God that Darky or Anto doesn't end up killing the guys before we do.